let's hit the roster real quick. Tomorrow's
Sure.
the cut down. Are you expecting anything dramatic to go on? Let me do the quick share screen. We can look at the depth chart. Here it is right here. Let's start with wide receivers. Ayuk, Debo, Jennings, those three are on. And then Ronnie Bell, I'd say that's 4. What do you? How many receivers do you got? I mean, do you put Danny Gray on the IR? Do you put do you put Ray on the IR, or do you put and season-ending IR, which means you put him on the IR before the cut down, or do you carry him on the 53 and then switch him immediately to the IR? How do you see the wide receivers after the top 4? And I think they're going 5 wide receivers.
Yeah, I think they're going to go with 6 wide receivers. I think they're going to have Gray and McLeod and Ronnie Bell. And I think after those guys are on the 53, then they'll put Gray and McLeod on IR and sign 2 other people. But I think they're going to want McLeod and Gray to come back at some point this year.
Okay.
And I think they're going to want to keep Ronnie. I think Ronnie Bell's shown enough to make this team.
And then who do you think the other 2 would be? Because, everybody's looked pretty good. Winstead, I thought, looked good in this last game. They also have Willie Snead, who's had a great camp. Tay Martin.
No, I'm with you. I think they'll end up probably keeping 5, but they'll have 6 on the initial one. They'll put 2 on the IR, and then they'll probably sign 1. It could be Willie Snead. It could be Winstead. It could be Conley. But
okay.
Initially, it'll be 6, I think.
Conley would make sense because he's the one vertical threat. How about O-line? The starting 5 is not. I like the starting 5: Trent, Banks, Brendel, Burford, McKivitz. I feel good about those guys. I just don't feel good about any of the backups. Any. Pryor played better in this game. Feliciano's old and doesn't move all that well. I know they like Zakel as a guy. Jalen Moore played well against the Chargers. I like Ilm Manning a little bit. Everybody else is like, I don't see it. So how many backup offensive linemen do they take? Who do you think they will be? Will there be 2? Will there be 3?
I think it'd be a mistake to keep more than 2. You only have 7 offensive linemen active on game day. So if you want to bring up another one, you can always call up a dude from practice squad. It could be Ilm Manning. No one's going to put Ilm Manning on their 53-man roster. So I think they should cut Matt Pryor and Ilm Manning, waive Ilm Manning, put him on the practice squad, and keep Feliciano and Jalen Moore. Because if you keep Matt Pryor, he's not good. You're going to cut someone who's better than him. So don't do that.
Yeah. He's somebody at a different position, you mean? You'll be cutting somebody. Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
A D lineman,
Right.
a wide receiver, a DB. Yeah.
I could see them trading for a swing tackle, but even now it's like I have a hard time, especially since they just traded Trey Lance for a 4th-round pick. That's probably the same pick it would take to get a swing tackle. I think they won't make that move just for that reason, just for the fact that people would see that the same amount that they would just got for their quarterback, they're trading to another team for a 3rd-string tackle. What about tight end? Latu, is Latu done for the year?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, so maybe he goes on IR before the cut. Do you think how many tight ends will they carry? Personally, I think this is such a deep roster. I'd rather carry 3 tight ends, and I'd go with Kittle, Braden Willis, and I don't care at that point. If you want Warner, Dwelly, Fumagalli, whatever, but to me it's Kittle, Willis, and a 3rd guy. How do you see tight end?
I think they're going to keep 4. I feel like it's going to be Kittle,
they always
Willis,
do.
Dwelly, and Werner. For whatever reason, it's going to be. I think they were looking to push Werner off the roster with Latu, but it didn't happen. So I think you got Kittle, Dwelly, Werner, and Willis. They like Will. I don't know why they like Werner and why they like Werner. I like Dwelly. I don't know why they like Dwelly because they don't use him. But I think those 4 are going to make the team.
Warner's ball skills are just so bad. How about quarterback? It's Purdy and Arnold, but then Kyle wouldn't even commit to Allen being on the roster. Are they going to try to play some roster games using Allen's spot and putting him on the practice squad and just and then maybe maneuvering, or do you think they'll carry three on the final 53?
I think they should just keep two. I don't think any other team wants Brandon Allen. If they do, great. But I think they could probably put Brandon Allen in the practice squad and just keep two.
How about running back? McCaffrey, Mitchell, Mason, Price, and Juice, those five, and McNichols, Brian Hill, and Coletto are cut? Or do you think that there's a lot of people that think that Coletto is their fullback of the future and that they may try to squeeze Coletto onto the final 53 and then let him build up his body on the practice squad and have him sitting there when they cut Juice next year?
Yeah, I mean, if they think someone's going to pick Coletto up off waivers because other teams are running Shanahan's system and they need a fullback, then they might keep him. That's interesting. It's possible. I feel like he hasn't done enough to be on the team. You don't need two fullbacks, and he can't play tight end. But if they want him for next year and they think he's going to get poached, they'll keep him.
Okay, the specialist, Wisnowski, Pepper, and who's the one kicker going to be? Is it going to be Jake Moody with the quad, Zane Gonzalez with the calf, Robbie Gold with less money, or today they worked out Tristan Vizcaino and got another guy named Taylor Russolino. Never heard of Taylor Russolino.
That inspires confidence. No, it's going to be Jake Moody, and then I wouldn't be surprised if they put him on IR for a few weeks, or they just make him inactive for a few weeks while he returns. But yeah, it's going to be Jake Moody. Zane Gonzalez is gone. I just don't feel like Robbie Gold's coming back. I feel like there's something acrimonious between them, like some personal stuff. I don't know. It feels like it's not going to happen.
How about D-line? How many D linemen do they carry? To me, this is wide open. I mean, you've got Drake, Armstead, Hargrave, Farrell. You still don't have Bosa, so those are your front four. Then you have Givens and Hyder and Kinlaw and Beal, who hasn't practiced in a week, and Austin Bryant, Kalia Davis, T.Y. McGill, Alex Barrett, Marlon Davidson. I mean, seriously, this is actually, I think, hugely important. I think this might be a major issue for the team. They used to have Ebukam and Menahue and Willis, and they let those guys go, and I don't like any of these guys nearly as much that they replaced them with. What do you think? How many D linemen and does Kinlaw make it? Does Beal make it? I mean, what do you think?
I don't think either one makes it. I think Beal is going to be on IR all year. He hasn't done anything. And I think Kinlaw, I mean, they're D tackle. They should be keeping Hargrave, Armstead, Givens, Kalia Davis, McGill. All those guys I would keep over him. Even
Davidson's played way better.
Which defensive tackle on the Niners is worse than him?
That's the thing. I mean, McGill's in better shape. Here's the one thing that's kind of frustrating about the Niners up front. They got a bunch of one-gap penetrators. So Givens and Hargrave and McGill and Kalia and Davidson, they're all one-gap penetrators. The only guys who aren't one-gap guys are Armstead and Kinlaw, but Armstead's the only guy that really is stout against the run. I think they may need to find another Ridgeway-type player that's not named Kinlaw.
I agree.
It's not in this camp.
Agree. Yep. I totally agree.
How about
they got
linebacker?
Some work to do on their roster. What's interesting about this 53?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they poach players off of other rosters. Like, depth is a problem for them. They need someone's offensive lineman. They need someone's defensive lineman. They do.
Yeah, they really do, especially up front on the defensive side. How about linebacker? I mean, they're loaded here. Greenlaw, Warner. I would go with the kids. I would go with McCrary, Ball, Winters, and Graham, and I think I'd go with 5 linebackers, and maybe cut Curtis Robinson, trade maybe either Oren Burks or Flanagan Fowles if I could get a day 3 pick. But that's the route I'm going. There's no way I'm cutting McCrary, Ball, Winters, or Graham. I think those guys really all played well this summer.
You might be able to sneak McCrary, Ball on the practice squad, but other than that, I'm with you. I think the Niners should be trading some of these. They have like the deepest linebacker room in the league. People love their linebackers. They could trade Flanagan Fells. They could trade Burks. They could trade Curtis Robinson. They could trade all of them. Probably for nothing more than a late 6, but that's something considering how the Niners just throw picks away.
I think they're pretty set at safety. It's Afonga and Gibson. It's Odom, who's a great special teamer in the 3rd round pick, Jair Brown. Hawkins, I think, broke the hand, so he'll go on season-ending IR. Hartsfield, I think, gets cut. So I think the safety thing is really clear-cut. The corner situation, Mooney, Lenore, Womack, Ambry Thomas, Deshaun Jameson, And if it comes right down to it, I'm going with Quantrez Knight, and I'm cutting Isaiah Oliver. I know
gotta be the
Isaiah Oliver.
move. We all want it. We all want it.
He's outplayed him.
Quantrez earned it. Isaiah did not.
Yeah. Now, do you think that's something they would actually do?
Yes. They don't play roster politics, right? They got rid of Trey Lance, right? You got to keep the best player. I don't give a damn what you invested in him. Javon, Isaiah, you got to make the right call. So let's see what the Niners do. Or are they only take a hard line on quarterbacks? Let's see.
Do you agree that Deshaun Jameson ought to be on the roster? Because I do. I mean, and then they got Luter on the pup. So
Right.
what do they do with him?
So here's
it's pretty clear he's
corners.
healthy.
The 6 corners are Ward, Lenore, Ambry, Womack, Jameson, Knight. Boom. Those are your 6. And then you
I
get
agree.
4 safeties. Boom. Sorry, Isaiah. Play better.
Yeah. Do they pay him a lot of money, or could they cut him loose?
It's like 2 years, $7 million. Like they gave him. I mean, that's the thing though. Like, is Jed pissed at them? Are they afraid of wasting more of Jed's money and time? I don't know. Like, he just wrote the check for this freaking guy. What are they going to do?